I know I should have shaved. Gosh, I'm gonna look so crazy in this video. You might be asking, why are you doing a mindfulness video about 2020 when we're almost in 2021? That's the exact point. Think about it. Mindfulness is all about being actively in the present, not what you're going to do today or any of that. We're talking about the actual present. The fact that right now I'm mindful on the way that I prioritize and present this video to you, right? Making sure that I make all the points that I need to, but I do it in a very gratitude focused kind of way. I know that I'm gonna mess up. I know that my teaching style, presentation style may not resonate with everyone, but at least I'm blessed and I'm grateful that I can present this information to you. So that's why we're doing a video about 2020. Yes, on December 1st, right? A month until 2021. Because guess what? Even if the new year shows up, we're still gonna be faced with the same problems and issues, whether it's financial, physical, romantic, etc., etc. So it's important that you realize that right now is what you need to worry about. We're gonna go through some tips to actually worry less. Stay tuned. Now, according to Harvard Business News, the craziest thing is that over 80% of Americans are suffering from stress in their daily lives, and this just increases the probability of things such as heart disease, stroke, and other illnesses. And we normally focus when it comes to like holistic mindset, holistic improvement, we normally look at fitness and nutrition. When we talk about taking time for ourselves, we normally associate that with staring at social media and watching Netflix in the background, or really not watching, right? What ends up happening is that mentally, you're so involved on scrolling through your feed, on responding to any comments people have dropped, and maybe paying attention to Netflix a little bit, right? Not too much. So we need to realize that mindfulness and meditation are important components to truly take care of yourself, to truly take time to oneself. So pay attention and pay attention. Yes, I know, I joked around about paying attention. I said it twice in that last bit, but the reason I want to do that is because I want you to know that paying attention is the foundation of mindfulness. So take, for example, what I do. I set a timer for about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes and I walk the backyard. And it's real easy. What I do is, instead of thinking of what I need to do 5 minutes from now or 3 seconds ago, I pay attention to what's happening in that exact moment. So I'm no longer just staring at the fence. I'm no longer just looking at grass. I'm looking at the leaves of grass. I'm looking at the contours of my fence. I'm paying attention to my breathing. I'm also paying attention to the sound of cars that are passing by since I live in a cul-de-sac. But I am in that exact moment. The second my mind wanders and I start thinking about a laundry list of things I need to do, I pull it back and I stare at the details again. And I'm grateful. My mind is actually thinking gratitude and being just in the moment and being glad that I'm alive. And I know that sounds hokey and it sounds almost cliche, but this takes exercise. Just like physical exercise, you're going to have to do this on a repetitive basis for you to reap the benefits. So my suggestion is set a timer. Doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you think is comfortable, and just stare at what's happening, whether it's walking around the house, whether it's walking around your room, walking out in your backyard, but pay attention to the details. The reason that I walk around is it's easier to be distracted if I'm sitting in one place because I know myself the best. So whatever your style works, just try it, okay? So reap the benefits of mindfulness by actually doing it. Don't just listen to this video. If you have to push pause on it, then do that. But make this a foundation, not only for 2020, but for 2021. Another technique is while I'm driving. Now, certainly I'm not trying to promote anyone getting into a car accident, but instead of getting my phone out to stare at text messages, stare at emails, stare at social media, I set my phone down and I look around. I'm at a stoplight, I'll look at other cars, I'll look at stores, I'll look at people pumping gas. I'm in that moment. And I'm feeling that gratitude of knowing that I'm breathing, that I'm in a car that works, and whether I'm on the way to work or I'm on the way somewhere, I'm enjoying the journey a little bit more than just going on autopilot. You don't have to set a timer for this. You don't have to particularly think too much about it. Just be in the moment while you're driving. And you'll notice that a lot of other people are on autopilot, right? Come from a place of humility, be in that moment, be grateful that you're in that moment, and reap the benefits. So I'm gonna share 3 benefits that I have seen personally when it comes to mindfulness. So the first one is enhanced visual information processing. This basically stems from the fact that I'm in the moment looking at what's presented in front of me, whether that's a presentation on self-improvement, whether that's what I'm watching on Netflix, I'm actually watching it, whether that's me driving, I'm looking at billboards and actually staring at them. It has really helped me stay in the moment, stay attentive. And for someone who's working on a military class right now, it's actually made the assignments a lot quicker for me to complete. The other benefit is reduced stress. I find myself over worrying about things that are gonna happen in the future, or how many hits this YouTube video will get, or how successful I'm gonna be or not. And I have reduced my stress by just thinking about the moment itself. Just being glad that I have a shirt on my back, being glad that I have lovely friends and family that are in my life. And it actually has prevented me from relapsing into any state of sadness or possible depression. Another benefit is that I'm able to check in with myself physically. While I'm driving and I practice mindfulness, I realize how much my lower back needs to get stretched. Or let's say that I'm at the gym and I'm lifting, I realize that I may have a habit once I go on to do bicep curls, or that I'm benching the wrong kind of way. When I'm being mindful, I'm actually checking in with my body and seeing every single nook and cranny on how I exercise. And I'm able to prevent injuries that may affect me if I was not being mindful. There is a difference between concentration and mindfulness. I want you guys to listen up to this. Concentration is where you're staring at one object at the expense of others, other people, other objects. You're completely focused on that. And you may even have some judgment on that object, person, or whatever you're staring at. Versus mindfulness, you completely let it be. And at the same time, you're aware of your entire surroundings. You're aware of the fact that you have good people around you at that present moment, even if they're not physically with you. You're aware of the pain that others are feeling while you're staring at that apple on the table. So the difference between concentration is that you're totally focused on one thing and you're forgetting about the rest of it. Mindfulness is that you're in the complete moment in every certain kind of way with no judgment, while at the same time being focused on what's in front of you. That's the difference. Now, while we talked about the benefits of mindfulness and a little quick explanation, it's important that we go back in history and talk about how mindfulness became a buzzword. As far back as 2,600 years ago, Buddhist monks have been doing mindfulness. At that time, it was just called the sense of self. And it was a secular way of meditation. Fast forward to the US, 1979, John Kabat-Zinn brought it to the limelight. It was called the Mindfulness Stress Reduction Program at the time. And it wasn't until 1980s and 90s that medical researchers found this to be very reputable and a benefit to folks that practice it. So as you're looking through self-awareness and self-improvement programs, implement mindfulness, because you understand that this is not the keto diet of physical and spiritual transformation. It's been around for some time. So without further ado, let's get more into this video. You might be asking yourself, how does mindfulness and dating connect? You're the dating doc. Come on, what's going on here? It's real easy. A negative person is not an attractive person. Overall, a negative person will not be an attractive person. So we need to work on ways to lower our anxiety, to avoid from relapsing into depression, and also for being in a state of gratitude with what's presented to us. Let's say you're worried about the fact that you haven't met a special someone, and you're worried too much about your past, or you're worried too much about your future. You can be in the moment, being mindful about the fact that not only can you add to dating, but dating can add to you, right? And that's really what the foundation of mindfulness is. Plus, it's an activity that you can practice with your partner. You can talk about, hey, let's just be in the moment and let's set a timer, 10 or 15 minutes to just stare at each other and smile and look at each and every detail that makes us us. And you'll find some beauty in that. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. 2021's coming up, but that doesn't mean you can't start being mindful today. Click and subscribe. Check you out later.